All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me a touch on the top prop bets today on both college basketball and PGA. For the most part, might be touch on NHL a little bit, but we are getting some pretty good props for Saturday without NBA. I mean, typically speaking, by now you guys probably know that with college basketball, but PGA, we are getting another big edge there. So let's go ahead and touch on that right now. So yeah, guys, today for golf, Hideki Matsuyama, we are getting a pretty good greens and regulation prop. Now, yesterday for the Flex Friday slip, it did not hit on PrizePicks, but because of that, it was a pretty darn good day for anyone that really was betting on underdog, especially with these PGA props. Like, clearly we could see that there was some mistakes that were going on the prop board, whether that be on PrizePicks or underdog. Tough to say. Now, it did seem like it was going to be on PrizePicks, but the course just played easier. Yesterday, a lot of golfers were able to pepper greens. Now, that could happen again today, but really, I still like the idea of betting on both sides of this. Now, whether you want to like stack it, you could do that. But when we start to stack these same prop lines, the payout is going to be a little bit worse. So what you could do is actually just run out Hideki, let's say for underdog, bet is over greens and regulation. Pair that with Cameron Young over greens and regulation, and then do that Hideki with Jason Day, Hideki with Tom Kim. Like, you do that, and then you do Cameron Young, Day. You know, you keep doing that, and then you do the exact opposite on PrizePicks. Now, obviously, that's going to mean one site probably not going to cash. The other site probably will cash because, again, we are getting kind of a clear distinction here. It is a good strategy for profitability in terms of like this middling. And at the same time, like, we could get lucky with a few middling opportunities in there as well. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. And I would say we are due for some middlings to hit, but really a big edge there with those first four props. I will say I do like the Hideki one. Again, there shouldn't be 1.5 for a prop line difference. That just shouldn't be happening. But then I like Day and Tom Kim just because it's either going to be in the middle, 10 greens in regulation, or, one of them's not going to hit. Whereas this Cameron Young one is pretty much saying one of those could be a push. Okay, so not as good. And then let's just go ahead and jump into some college basketball here, guys. So looking at right now, we got Tristan Newton for under fantasy score here. Again, a slight prop line difference. This would be a better prop bet on underdog where we're getting a little bit of a better edge. So if you want to pair some of those PGA props with Newton, by all means, go ahead and do that. For the Duke, I still don't know how to say his last name, but for Kyle here, we're going to see, pretty good lines between PrizePicks and underdog. What I don't like here is that the projection data really likes the over, and then the average sportsbook line likes the under. To me, that's more of a prop that we should most likely be staying away from just because we don't have continuity between the lines. College basketball, again, we get a big edge because it is tougher to predict. Now, a lot of the times we don't know whether that edge is going to be on PrizePicks or underdog. Obviously, we got the data to steer us in the right direction, but for the most part, I do like kind of betting on both sides of that, but that's going to be a prop that I think we should probably just stay away from. Here's a better one where Tyler Kolek for Marquette. We could be betting the under fantasy score specifically on PrizePicks. This is a 1.45 prop line difference between PrizePicks and underdog. Typically speaking, underdog is the one that's always higher than PrizePicks. So maybe you could bet the over on underdog because, again, that just typically doesn't happen. But to me, this kind of tells me that PrizePicks is truly overvaluing Tyler Kolek today. So a good under bet there for him. Continuing on, you got Ryan Kalkbrenner. We are getting a decent prop line difference for him, 1.5. Again, we don't have the continuity between the lines that I would like to see. The average sportsbook line would have his fantasy score total set at 35.2, where the projection data really likes the over at 41.3. And that has kind of been the situation with Ryan Kalkbrenner because he is someone that can get a lot of blocks and steals, and it seems like he's either very much hitting his under or just crushing his over. And so I get why it's tougher to project for him. So for me, that's going to be one, again, that I'll probably just be staying away from. And then continuing on, we're not getting as many good prop bets just yet, but we will. It's a college basketball Saturday. We're going to get more props than that. And I do just want to jump into the underdog side of things because for underdog, it is a little bit bigger for projected edges. I mean, typically speaking, we're seeing that. So the Newton prop, we were seeing bigger edge there like that. And then again, like underdog is just typically compared to the average sportsbook line, just much more aggressive with their projections. And so in the rare occasion where we get an over fantasy score like this one, I typically do like to target those ones a little bit more. And here's another one that we are getting. So we got two where the data is kind of saying, bet the over fantasy score. And again, with underdog, with how they typically project lines, we don't get that a lot. And so I do think that those two, where the fantasy score is being fair for the over, I want to run those out because, again, look at all the other ones. They're all telling us to bet the under fantasy score. And so to me, those are ones that kind of stick out like a sore thumb because, again, Underdog typically much more aggressive with their college basketball props than the average sportsbook line and PrizePicks. And then just jumping into some NHL props, really not getting that many good edges. And the projection data is pretty much telling us to do the opposite of what the average sportsbook line is telling us in a lot of situations. Really, the only decent one it seems like we're getting is Matthews for over his shots on goal. But again, that one only... that's about a 52.3 or 52.5% chance to hit. That's just one I don't need to go out of my way to target. And we are getting good enough prop bets for the most part. Let's just take a peek real quick at the discrepancies report, and then I'll give you guys the bet of the day. So again, we are getting some decent prop line differences, especially for MMA today. I don't know MMA that much, so I will say tough for me to really tell you guys what side of that to go on. And just let me know in the comment section if you guys would actually like me to cover MMA a little bit more, maybe more on the big fight nights. Yeah, let me know that in the comment section below because I can do that. There's someone that I know that's a pretty good MMA expert, and so I could make tools kind of geared towards that to, well, one, help me, but then help you guys make decisions. So yeah, let me know about that. I am curious if anyone wants that because, you know, I can put some priority in getting that set up for you guys. All right, so getting into the bet of the day today, again, this is going to be a day in which I do kind of think volume is key, just with the different prop line differences that we are getting. Again, I think a good strategy would just be running these paired together and then doing the exact opposite on PrizePicks. More likely than not, we're going to be able to hit the props together on one of the sites because the course is going to play better or worse than what one of the sites are suggesting. And then I do really like these two college basketball props on Underdog specifically because, again, typically speaking, Underdog is going to be heavily overvaluing their fantasy scores compared to the average sportsbook line and really compared to the projection data. So the fact that the projection data and the average sportsbook line is telling us to bet the over fantasy score for Underdog, to me, those are two pretty darn good prop bets that we are getting. And then here's just another slight variation of a prop bet you could be running out there. This one's actually going to pay out in full. It's not going to have a payout reduction because, well, you're not going to be chasing the golf props that will be obviously slightly adjusted because, well, we're gaining an edge by betting on how the course is going to play more so than the player. And then jumping into PrizePicks, going to be somewhat more of the same, but I do want to call out that when you pair, again, these ones all together, the payout's going to be a little bit reduced. So I see these as the four best props that we are getting. At the same time, if you want to run out something like this, so you're getting the full payout, that makes sense to me as well. And then you could run out a similar slip. Instead of Day, you would have Tom Kim in there instead. So there we go. You know, that's another thing that you can run out there. But obviously, it's up to you guys. I'm kind of putting the ball in your court today just because we have a good volume of bets that are out there. And obviously with golf, where the payout's a little bit reduced, we got to kind of finagle our way. And that's where I'm saying it is more of a volume day, just given the payout reduction. We want to get the best bang for our buck, and we really should just be doing, you know, stuff like this. We're paying it together so the payout isn't getting as adjusted as, you know, we would like. But that's gonna be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give a like and subscribe if you guys want access to the tools. Head on over to 9to5sports.com. Thanks for watching. As always, let's keep cashing.